Whoopi Goldberg and her fellow hosts of The View clashed with media personality Charlamagne Tha God on live television. The heated exchange was in relation to Joe Biden pardoning his son Hunter, which has been a controversial issue for the Biden family this week.
All of the criticism is valid because, Democrats stand on this moral high ground all the time and, they act so self-righteous. The reality is he didn't have to say anything in regards to, whether or not, his son wanted to be pardoned. He could have said, hey, man, I'm not focused on that right now. But since they were calling Trump a threat to democracy and they were saying that, nobody's above the law, but they were speaking about him, that's what they were running on. So when he kept saying things like, nobody's above the law, I respect, the jury's decision in regards to my son, he didn't believe that. But he didn't have to volunteer that lie to begin with.
I'm going to stop you for a second.
Uh-oh.
Only because you don't know that it was a lie. We don't know why he changed his mind.
You really think he just changed his mind over Thanksgiving weekend all of a sudden?
No, I'm going to tell you what I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he changed his mind because he got sick of watching everybody else get over.
Online commentators blasted the host, with this person saying, Charlamagne just absolutely cooked The View women. This commentator agreed, saying Charlamagne triggers Whoopi Goldberg by calling out Joe Biden for lying and breaking his promise not to pardon his son Hunter Biden after his federal convictions. This isn't the first time Whoopi Goldberg and her co-host defended Joe Biden's decision to pardon his son this week, with Whoopi blaming Biden's lies on Trump.
Here's what it says. It's a precedent for all of us to open our eyes because we've elected someone who is in a similar situation, who didn't have a drug problem, who knew what he was doing, who clearly stood and said, I can do this. And he did it. So I think, for many, many reasons, this is very different than any other situation that we have ever dealt.
Sky News contributor Kristen Tate slammed Whoopi's blame game.
I mean, look, Hunter Biden's behavior was despicable, but the most infuriating part about all of this is not what a creep Hunter Biden is or how corrupt he was. It's the way the media has completely ignored the corruption for years at this point. They have been complicit in this. Remember, when the New York Post broke the story about Hunter Biden's laptop right before the 2020 election, normal people were blocked from sharing that story on social media. If you did try to share the story, you were told you were spreading Russian propaganda. Just imagine for a moment if Donald Trump Jr.'s laptop had been discovered and all of this kind of material suggesting corruption or at the very least very unseemly behavior was found. You think the media would be interested in that? Of course they would. It would be shared everywhere. It would be front page news for months. But because this was the Bidens, because it was Democrats, the media didn't want to talk about it, and they are continuing to downplay the story and make excuses for it even now. It is disgusting, but is it surprising? Absolutely not.
Charlamagne Tha God also took a shot at Sunny Hostin's string of legal notes.
Have you watched The View?
Yeah.
Well, let's be honest. Sonny, I saw you have to apologize a couple times last week, so somebody's coming with some notes from downstairs.
Not apologizing.
Okay.
I'm making a legal note as an attorney of law.
Because we have a petty president, incoming,
yes,
that is going to be very litigious.
Who is litigious, but that doesn't mean that's not a mistake.
We check ourselves.
This commentator mocked the exchange, saying Charlamagne says the media will only lie about Trump. When The View claims they don't, he points out all the legal notes they have to read. This is fun to watch. This commentator agreed, saying Charlamagne just absolutely cooked The View women. And it seems the hosts of The View are the last women standing in defending Joe and Hunter Biden, with Sky News host Peter Credlin calling it a terrible look.
Michael,
That's for sure.
I don't care, Michael, how the father wants to justify it. The father's also the president, and pardoning his son for federal convictions, I just think it's a terrible look for the United States.
It is a terrible look, but wasn't it expected, Peter? Didn't you think that that's why Joe Biden was hanging around right till the last minute? It's unprecedented, though, to give cachet to your son all the way back to 2014 for deeds he committed or may have committed. It's a terrible look. And in a sense, he's pardoning himself, Joe Biden, because all of Hunter's deeds were done in conjunction with him, including all of the crooked receipts of $20 million to entities untraceable, until recently, and it's a terrible look. And I think history will judge Joe Biden as one of the worst ever United States presidents ever, and this being fitting cap to that.
And even the left-wing media can't turn a blind eye to this monumental stuff-up.
Walsh, welcome, Congressman Walsh. What do you make of all of this? What is likely to be the response on Capitol Hill to this breaking news?
Good to be with you. See, I told you so. They're all like that. So the next time any of us complain about anything Trump does, this pardon is just deflating. For those of us who have been out there for a few years now yelling about what a unique threat Donald Trump is, for Joe Biden to do something like this, Trump, nobody's above the law, we've been screaming. Well, Joe Biden just made clear his son Hunter is above the law. Donald Trump lies every time he opens his mouth, we've been screaming. Joe Biden repeatedly lied about this. The politicization of the justice system, Donald Trump and his people have been screaming. Well, that's exactly what Biden said here.